Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Fanatics Tuesday night Q&A ahead of round 19, or as we should just be calling it, the year that keeps on giving. Another lot of, well, not just even one or two. We got like 4 or 5 for some teams forced trades this week. Plenty of carnage heading into round 19. I cannot remember a year quite like this one. I'm your host, Bales, and you can find BAILSDT across socials. And joining me is one of my co-hosts. And I did see a comment the other day. I didn't give apparently a good enough intro to this man. So he is the number 2 ranked coach in 2024, runner-up there. A very good man, one of my favourite people to talk fantasy with. It is Tom, coach of Pom United. Tom, mate, how are you? I hope that intro was good for you. I know that a few people said that I might have underplayed the intro the other night and called you just Tom jumping over me. So, mate, how are you?
I'm happy with just Tom, if I'm honest. I've still got a 5-figure rank, so until that changes, I am just Tom. I'm happy to be here. I thought we were gonna have bigger numbers tonight, but we don't. But that's fine. A couple of us gonna have a chat. Gonna chat through these viewer questions because we've all got bits and bobs to do this week, and that's a little bit annoying.
Yeah, if you've managed to dodge, I think if you've got only one forced trade this week, then we need you. What the lot of numbers are going to be this week because you've been lucky. Because I feel like every team's going to have at least 2, and there's probably teams out there that are going to have more than that. So, would it shock you, Tom, if there was defense out there that had Noble, Laird, and Bailey Dale in it, and they're the other 3, right? We talked about Butters and France already, but they're the other 3 in defense. Wouldn't shock you if teams had all those 3 in defense plus a 4th and a 5th. It's just pretty crazy. This, like, can you remember? Like, I know that we say it every year when we go, oh, we can't remember a year like this when we get forced trades, but genuinely cannot remember a year where we've had this many forced trades this long into the season, pretty much week after week. We talked about the other day. We said that we probably had like maybe 3-4 weeks worth of where we didn't have a forced trade this year.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I think Noble by reports is going to play, which is a delight for coaches. But it's having you can have a good side and have 4 forced trades this week, which is very, very unfortunate. And the 2 rules of thumb is if you have a half decent cover for Horn Francis, I'd hold him because it's just a week.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just who you can get to the best players / where is your best cover. And if you can get 2 looks at it, if you can get 2 looks at a midfielder, I prefer that over 1 look at HHK, for example. But yeah, it's a very unfortunate week that coaches can do everything right and still not be rewarded. But that's the game we play. We have no control over injuries and the like.
Yeah, exactly. So if you haven't heard all of the news that we are talking about, so obviously started on Saturday where Zach Butters unfortunately had his ankle caught underneath in a contest. Sinner's most injury, he's going to be out for at least a month and possibly back around 23-24. If anyone's going to come back early from that, it wouldn't shock me that it's him, but he's a forced trade. Jaiden Francis copped a week's suspension in that same game for a hit, I think it was on Liam Stocker. So he's the one, if you can hold, try to, but obviously forward line, don't know if there's a lot of teams out there with great cover. So if you've got someone on there, that could be quite handy this week. Then Rory Laird, what was it? Later that night, ankle injury as well. So low grade Sinners most injury. He's out for 2 to 4 weeks. So he's another forced trade if you've got him. But then probably the one that if you do have, Bailey Dale, he's out for 5 weeks with a shoulder fracture, which went off injured late in the game. It must have been from I think it was a late bump, whatever that. I didn't actually see the bump, but I saw him go off and it said injured on the app. And a few people in group chats are saying anything to worry about. And no one sort of really knew what was going on, but then we hear 5 weeks. So he's unfortunately going to be out as well. And he had a good run coming up as well, which is also sucks more than that. So, Tom, I think what we'll do before we answer questions, we've got a couple of super chats here. I just want to go through our top 3 options: midfield, defense, and then we'll go forward line because obviously if you're training a Horn Francis, who are the guys you're looking at? So we'll start with defense because that's where we've got a couple of these issues, particularly those that have got maybe the Dale and Laird, who are a little bit more sort of not as highly owned as the others, but who would be the top 3 defenders that you're you'd be looking at this week? Because we do have some good options, but obviously I feel like every week we're getting at a premium defender sort of going off the board almost for the season, or at least for a few weeks. So who are the three that you like to bring in this week?
Yeah, so I'm not going to include Nasaya, Ash, and Holmes because they're all over 85% owned in the top 100. And I think they'd be my top three bring-ins. If you don't have any of them, bring in the one you don't have. So I'm going to go with other names. So option number one for me, and this is risky off the concussion, I think it's Lockie Whitfield. If you traded Lockie Whitfield, I know it's back. Seems weird to go straight back. It is Essendon. It could be huge. I think if he bothers to play, he's not getting managed. Option number two for me, and this is a little bit rogue, I'm going to say Nick Newman. Carlton have a really good run to end the year. I like Nick Newman. And if you want someone very, very smoky, as an under 10% ownership player, I don't mind throwing a dart at a Dane Zorko.
Yeah. Yeah, don't mind that Dane Zorko shout. Looked pretty good in his return game, and obviously had a little bit of management in that game, 73%. But yeah, I think he could be someone that you could look at. I'll give a couple of different names as well. I agree, Whitfield, Newman, really like those options as well. I think the other couple that I would consider, so like Josh Dacos has got a tricky run home, but he's getting it done at the moment, 100 average for the season, and with all his defenders dropping off, you feel like he's someone that is pretty safe and he can get it done. He's gone forward. The last five have been over the ton. Yep, they've had some good matchups there, but North Melbourne on paper wasn't a good matchup for defenders this season, and he put up his biggest score of the year. So I think he's someone that can continue to get it done. Brad Hill was someone going to talk about the forward line, but if you want to bring him in defence, I certainly couldn't talk out of doing that move because he's been great there. So you could look his way. And then the other two I do like is Cal Wilkie. Obviously put up a big score on the weekend, continues to get it done, averaging over 100, including the injured score in that 100 average. And then Luke Parker is the other one that I don't mind as well with a good run. Similar to Josh Dacos, is pretty consistent. You know what you're going to get most weeks, but probably bumping Cal Wilkie probably above those two, just with he's a little bit cheaper than both those guys. And even though his run's a bit tricky, I just think we've seen a good sample size there that he is going to continue to get it done. So I do like him there. Midfielders. Who are your three? And again, I think we probably should say the three that if you don't have Baz, Dacos, or Dawson, they're the top three I think you go for. But if it wasn't for those three, who are your next three that you like?
So the next three for me, I find the midfield quite a difficult line. I will say I like. I'm not saying Bont either. 80% owned. I like Bont against Gold Coast at under $1 million. Other options, Will Ashcroft has been absolutely killing it. 127 in his last five, 132 in his last three. West Coast, big ground over here. I think that could be a great pick. If you don't have Isaac Heaney, Heaney's playing for a Brownlow. Quite like that pick. Slightly cheaper price point and a bit more unique. I don't mind Bont's Bulldogs teammate in Ed Richards as a under 10% pod for the trip home.
Yeah, don't mind that chat. He's been pretty consistent getting it done this year as well. Yeah, I agree. I do really like Ashcroft. I really like Heaney. And yeah, I don't mind Ed Richards as well as a bit of an option. The other couple I like, Noah Anderson's an interesting one. Like, I want to say I do like him, but just Gold Coast at the moment do scare me a little bit. But Bulldogs this week, Carlton a bit trickier, but then Melbourne and Giants. So it's a decent three of the next four for mids. So I think that Noah Anderson, he's not someone I'm really worried about in terms of role or anything like that. So I think he's someone that's still going to continue to score well, and in better matchups for Gold Coast, hopefully he can score well. So I like him. Errol Goulden's someone that I was impressed with what I saw against Freo. That score probably could have been a 110 to 120 score. The TOG was back right up. The CBA's probably, I want 10 more percent, 15% at least would be really nice. Seems to be plays one half a little bit more forward, and then the second half he plays a lot more in the midfield. And a few weeks ago it was in the first half is more midfield, second half is more forward. Last week it was the flip. So I'm hoping that maybe becomes a 3/4 more mid and then maybe 1/4 more forward. But I do like him. I think he can score really whatever role. And he's at a better price at pretty much $1 million there as well. And then the final two, I do like Clayton Oliver. I do like as well against the Bombers this week. He's just been consistent getting it done. Hasn't gone below 97 in his last 5, including a couple of nice scores in round 14 and round 16 there. And Lockie Neal, pretty much what you said about Will Ashcroft. You can pretty much say for Lockie Neal, not quite the heights of the 140s and that consistently over the last few weeks, but he went 153 last week. Got some tags against Sydney and Geelong, but was still able to go 96 and 88. And I think when Brisbane are charging home, I think he's going to be a big part of that. So I think that Lockie Neal was someone I do like as well. Finn Callan, probably someone also I should have mentioned with Clayton Oliver. You could also go for as a bit of a cheaper option. And then Faldine, who are your 3? Again, taking out Sheasel, who are your 3 that you'd be going for?
Yeah, so I'm taking out the big players just because, yeah, I'm not doing that. So, I mean, Brad Hill's been getting it done, been awesome since the role change. The run isn't ideal, and it is a lot of money for Brad Hill, but numbers don't. But numbers say everything, and he's been very, very good. Isaac Rankin seems to be the price point and the layup guy that you can get. There is a huge James Jordan flag this week, and it's one of those where if you don't have him, or if he doesn't go to Jordan initially and he gets off the chain, then he's going to get Jordan. like that. Like the chance of him putting up a ceiling score is, I think, pretty low this week. But the extended run afterwards with Collingwood is fine, then Essendon and Richmond, I think we're all going to want Isaac Rankin. So you're taking this opportunity to get him in now rather than trying to get him in a couple of weeks when you might have other things to do. And my third option, because obviously there's lots of options, a lot of decent players. Someone I'm going to, once again, who's very underpriced or lowly owned. You can have a punt who's been very good, 197 his last 5, and that is Toby Green with Essendon this week under the roof. Could be colossal and ride the journey. However, I aren't going Toby Green just because I think Marshall will be an issue. I don't want 2 of those players who I might have to move in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, I agree. And I didn't realize how good Toby Green had been since lately. So since round 10, when he had a 42 against West Coast, he hasn't gone. He's only had one score below 85, which was a 73 against Carlton. So he's been really consistent, as you said, getting it done. Back-to-back tons in his last 2. So yeah, I don't mind if you want to take a bit of a punt in that direction. Yeah, I agree. I think I still go. Brad Hill 958K. As you say, it is a bit of a like. It is Brad Hill. We have been burnt by him a number of times in the past, but Sinclair being out and the clear role change of him playing a lot more. I know he used to float back into defence, but this is like he's now maybe starting on a wing and playing as the extra man in defence, which I've seen, or he just plays a halfback, just starts there. So like him, last 3, 115, 159, 134. Yep, 3 good matchups there. But I think that with a heap of games at Marvel, I think he can still go really well. So I do like him. I like Chad Warner as well. I think we've just seen now, like what's that? That's now 6 weeks in a row now of really good scores. Lowest score 97, and he's got 4 tons in that 6-week stretch and getting it done. And yeah, I just think that midfield role, it's a lot more midfield than forward. Like previous years when he's been poor, we've seen big stints of forward time, whereas he's just pure midfield at the moment. So I do like him. And yeah, I like Ron Marshall. Like it's a 1 to 2 week play because I think St Kilda listed TDK 1 to 3 weeks on the injury report. So he could be back next week, could be back in a couple of weeks. Who knows? If you're happy to take a week or two punt, and if you don't have any other real issues in your side, I don't mind that because he's going to make a ton of cash this week with a break even of 38. But I'd probably still just lean towards getting an option I want to hold for longer than a week or two. But if you want to take the punt, Greaves are going to be a great VC option on Thursday night. So I do like him there as well. And you flagged this guy as well, who's been in some good form. Darcy Wilson, last six. Sorry, he hasn't got. He's only had one score below 96, which was an 83. So if you want maybe a bit of a pod, he could be someone you might look to go. But yeah, I think one of those other guys there, even DeGoey was pretty good on the weekend as well. You could look there if you didn't have him. So
I'm not keen on DeGoey. His role is slowly ebbing away. I wouldn't be bringing him in. I'd be going against that.
Yeah, I probably would as well. But yeah, if you wanted to use an option there still, if you did like the look there. So let's go through some of these super chats. We'll get through all your questions. I'm sure you guys are wondering what to do. Hopefully some of those options helped a little bit that, but we'll go through all your questions. So chuck them in the chat and we'll get to them now. So Tim has got a super chat. Thank you, mate. It says, can someone help my team? I only have Butters to trade out. I don't have Marshall. Only 38K in the bank. So Tim, unfortunately, we can't look at your team. It's just a bit hard to look while we're recording, but if you got Butters and if he's your only issue, I'd just be trading him to one of those midfields we mentioned that you don't have and fix up another problem player in your team, or maybe get some money off that bench to maybe do a couple of moves next week. That would be what I would be suggesting to do. But thanks for the super chat, mate. We'll bite with next super chat. Thank you, mate. With Butters and Dale was my forced trades plus pending on Noble and having Sarong to fix up, beginning to think why he played this game. Anyways, Butters to Holmes, Dale to which any position under 1.012 million. So yes, firstly, why do we even play this game? I asked that same question. I'm sure Tom does as well. Why do we do this game? But we do it because we love footy, we love fantasy, but sometimes that it tests that love, that is for sure. Yeah, Butters to Holmes, Dale, which any position, Tom, do you like at that 1.012 million? Because it obviously takes a few of those options away, but there's still some of those defenders, mids and forwards under that price.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind getting on for that. If you want someone who is lowly owned, drops in price, proven top 8 scorer, role's not perfect, but still under 20% owned in the top 1%, I think Errol is just sat there waiting for you there, Will. I really like Errol for you.
Yeah, I like the Errol Goulden pick too. Obviously, you got Neil and Oliver under that price that you've also got as options.
Obviously, you've got the sugar hit options. Like you've got your GWS guys against Essendon this week. Like you've got sugar hit options, but I think Errol probably averages the most over the 6-week period we've got to the end of the year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do like that one there. So I would go with Errol. He's also got Rankin and Wilkie already. So there you go. Yeah, cool. Beautiful. Went through the options that you don't have, which is nice. Corey Blackledge with a super chat. Thank you, mate. Thoughts on Dale and Butters for Holmes and Marshall? 168K in the bank, or Dale and Butters to Holmes and Warner? 49K in the bank. Have Petrarca and Hill to loop this week. Just short of Holmes and Will Ashcroft. So, because I know Corey's got the 23rd prem, which is really handy, I'm sure, this week. But yes, are you going Marshall and money in the bank, or are you going Warner and less money in the bank?
Because you've got 23, I'd go the Marshall option. Because you can hold Marshall for longer because you can loop him.
Yeah.
So I would go the ceiling this week. And you can, like, because he becomes your 23rd premium, that's fine. He plays this week and you'll loop Hill and Track, but in future weeks, Marshall could be your 23rd and either loop him or that's the guy you trade out. So for me, you get the ceiling this week against Geelong.
Yeah, I agree. We've got some people in the chat as well saying, like, Pure Grunt says up to 21 forced trades this year. Your boy says 18 forced trades. So we'll actually have to do that before the end of the pod and tally up how many. I know Tom's. I can see Tom already looking at the screen going, "All right, I'm tallying up now." So,
I'm on it.
I'm interested to see. So I'll answer the next super chat, and then I'll read out next super chat, and I'll count mine while Tom answers that super chat. Because we've got a couple here. So the Slesser's got this super chat. Thank you, mate. G'day, legends. Butters and Dale out. keen to bring Whitfield in. Is the second one Goulden or Brad Hill? If Hill, I can send Houston or Petrarca to any player next week. So, what do you? So, Tom, like I'm probably Goulden v Hill. I've probably got more faith in Goulden for the rest of the year. But obviously, Brad Hill's been great. But he said he can send Houston or Track to any player. But I guess if you go Goulden, it's only 40 odd K, 50K difference. So you probably still get a good play for one of those two next week. Is it just Goulden over Brad Hill? Because that's partly where I lean to.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. Cool. Yeah, I think it's Goulden there, Celeste. I think we're going there. Goulden, as people know, I brought him in week 1, which, yep, okay, it was a gamble. Didn't work. Maybe we shouldn't have done it. There you go. Didn't work. But from what I've seen, it's just that Tolga's obviously improved every week. He's looked better and more comfortable. Looks like he's caught up to the speed and getting a little bit more of that sort of match fitness under the legs. And I do think that role will become, I think it will still stay similar-ish to what it is now. It's still going to be a bit of forward time, a bit of mid time. But I guess when there's a matchup where Jordan doesn't have to go into the midfield to tag, hopefully that means a few extra CBAs. But obviously that this week, I think Jordan probably is in the midfield because he's tagging probably one of Rankin or Dawson. So, yeah, I think Goulden's still a good pick, and he's not really going to get any attention ever. So, well, not likely with Heaney there and the way Warner's playing. So I'd be going for Errol. Have you tallied up how many you've got?
Yeah. I think I admit 21's a lot. I have 25 force trades this year.
Yeah, right. Okay.
25 guys who weren't going to play the next week.
Yeah. And that's what you count the force trade, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
yeah.
It's been a tough old year, mate. So yeah.
That's not premium. That's not premiums. That is players. So there's like when rookies get dropped, that is a trade, force trade. I'm less premiums than that. But
yeah. I'll have to tally up. I'll have to tally up mine as well. So while we answer this next super chat from Henza, thank you, mate. He's saying, "G'day, lads. Love your work as always. Thanks very much. Which option do you prefer? JHF to Bont and Field Banks, or JHF to Whitfield and Field Fitzgerald? PS Bales, you cannot get Sam Taylor this week after what we saw." Yeah, mate, that was pretty good, wasn't it? I know that he was pretty good. So, but no, I'm not. I won't be getting him this week there. But Tom, where would you be going? Would you be going getting Bont and Field Banks, or Whitfield and Field Fitzgerald while I tally up my force trades?
Yeah. So Hawthorne for Banks and North for Fitzgerald. I probably would. And Bont play. Who does Bont play? Bont plays Gold Coast, and Whitfield obviously plays Essendon. If there's a loop that can be done with either of these, I'd go for that one. If it had to be played straight up, I think I'm fielding Banks purely because I think Banks has a higher floor. I know he got 40 2 weeks ago. I just feel with no short, Banks has a better chance of a good score or a higher floor than Fitzgerald. And I kind of see Bont and Whitfield as a fairly even player. And in answer to your boy, yes, I have. I've had 3 weeks without a force trade. It's great. It's been multiple weeks where I've had 2 outs. So
yeah, it's not been good. It's not been good. Well, I'm still tallying up my force
okay.
out. So.
You keep tallying. I'll go to the top and I will answer a question.
Yeah,
D-Train. Hey lads, I have 3 combo options I can afford. Which would you pick? Holmes and Will Day, Baz and Zeke Hewland, or Whitfield and Toby Green? Cheers. For me, it's Whitfield and Toby Green. Close second is Holmes and Will Day. I'm not getting Baz and Zeke purely because I want 2 guys that I'm not going to have to trade or not want to trade. Will Day has a really nice run and Richmond this week. I'm just petrified he's going to get rested. GWS have to win every game to end the year, so we're not going to get a rest from either of these 2. And I think that Essendon matchup for GWS could be absolutely huge. So that's my response to D-Train. Darting Koost. Thoughts on grabbing Gorn this week to earn for the run home? I love it. I think he's going to be the R1. I grabbed him last week, so I went decam to Gorn rather than a forward option, because I think Gorn's going to be the R1, and love that. Who is next?
Well, I've tallied up what I got. So I've counted here 17 forced trades, but I have I've held a couple. So I held Petrarca early in the year, so you can say that's 18 forced sort of outs or whatever there. But I held Petrarca, so that's 18. Held Whitfield this past week, so that would have been 19 if I did end up trading.
Yeah.
I held Devrob for like 2 months because I couldn't trade him because I had other issues to deal with.
To be fair, I counted Devrob.
Yeah, so if you count Devrob, that's then 20, right? And then obviously this week Butters 21, Horn Francis 22. So like I'm up at over 20. So yeah, just a few. So I've been a little bit sort of luckier than a few others, but it's still a lot of issues to deal with. And I've ended up trading like Parrish a few weeks before he got injured, right? So it's like, and Grill a week before he got injured. So there's been a few sort of week or two before they were out, but yeah, it feels like there hasn't been many weeks where like past years where we've had like really, as we say, between what is it like round 3, 4 to like round 8, it's critical to not get those injuries to be able to go you're one down, one up and upgrade your side. It's felt like this year that has even just been pushed back. And there's people out there that, like, I know Nathan was talking about it last week. I haven't listened to Hatchet Pod this week just yet. But I know that he had a couple of rookies still on field last week because of just the forced outs that he's had there. I know that there are people out there with a rookie or two there. So it's been brutal this year. And I'm hoping that it's not going to be like this moving forward in future years because it's certainly testing the patience of us. That 50% tog rule couldn't have come in probably at a better year, to be honest, because we've that's been used a number of times for me, and I know for you, Tom, and for a lot of people out there. So, but yes, I agree. What was the last question answered? So
I'm going to roll. So Bales, Placenta. I have Laird, Busters, and JHF. Who do I trade out of the 3?
So who were the 3 you said? Sorry, I was
reading. Laird, Butters, and JHF.
Who do you trade?
Mm-hmm.
Butters is number 1, and Laird's number 2.
Yeah. The only way you wouldn't do that is if you don't have any forward cover.
Yeah, and if you've got Hulk undercover Laird, for example, then you trade JHF. Yeah, but Butters is a clear number 1, but agree, yeah, it depends on who your cover is for the other 2, but ideally it is the other one. But yeah, it's just far out. Like I find it like hilarious, and not in a funny way. I'm saying hilarious is like it's just like this. You got to be joking me that we're actually going. Who do you trade out is dependent on who you have as cover. It's just showing like how many forced trades we've got. It's just it's pretty much unbelievable. It really is. But no, I do know where about you're up to now, so I'll keep going from there. Damon Still's got this one here. Got the Butters and Dale Bullets. Currently got Zorko and Heaney, but also considered Clary as the Bombers matchup or Newman. And I like Will Ashcroft. Thoughts? You talked about all those players there before. So Damon said he's got Zorko and Heaney as the options there. Would you change his mind on getting a Clary Newman combo or even a Will Ashcroft in one of those combos as well, or would you tick off Zorko and Heaney?
Yeah. My spicy take for the week, I don't think Clary's going to be as good this week as I don't think he's have a huge ceiling this week because Clary loves the in and under ball, whereas players who scored well against the Bombers tend to be the outside mark-taking players.
The ceiling score for Finn and the halfbacks. Yeah,
halfbacks I see huge. If they want to wax, there's waxing all day. It's literally Madame Tussauds out there. So, but I don't mind Newman and Washcroft. I really don't mind that as a combo. But if you want to go onto Zork Island, I'll never talk anyone off Zork Island. I brought him in earlier the year, and he won me a hat almost single-handedly. So I'll never talk someone off that island.
Yeah, I agree. If you want Zorko and Heaney, if I had a choice, I'd go Newman and Ashcroft, as you said. But if you want to go Zorko and Heaney again, it's 50-50 calls at this point, right? When you're bringing in a choice of 4 really good players or 5, including Clary, you sort of really can't go wrong in a way like you can obviously, but like they're all good players. So we like all those options there. So if you want to go Heaney and Zorko, then you can certainly go there. James Crabble, next question. Naz and Rankin, Heaney and Hill, or Wilkie and Washcroft? And then second question, is Goulden worth bringing in as well instead, trading Butters and Merritt? So Merritt's the other one. It's not a forced trade per se, but like what we saw on the weekend, he looked checked out in that game. So we're probably going to see one or two things from Merritt this week. One, he's going to come and absolutely smash it because of all the talk this week, and then he comes out and says, I'm not checked out, I just had a bad game. Or two, we're going to see not another 38. I think that was just insanely low. I think it'll be just even just be like not quite that big score you're looking for. But if you want to trade him out, if you got another forced trades, then I can certainly do it. I'm Nasai and Rankin, I think, here. Because on a lot Naz away and Rankin's got a good run after the Sydney matchup. Are you in agreement there? I don't mind the other options as well, but if I'm picking the first combo.
I think I'm the first just because I think Nas is very, very good.
Yeah.
And
to be fair, though, that's the option that's the option that's probably got the most tags written all over it, right? Naz might get Melbourne.
Oh, yeah. It's 100%. It's tagged City, but like they're still like it's not like these players have just invented. It's not like a brand new player is going to get tagged. Like Nas gets attention every game he plays. He still has 120, so and I think ranking for the run home, especially with those back-to-back games, Richmond and Essendon, I think we're going to want him. I think he's almost a cat's nut in that week.
Well, we saw last time he played Richmond at the MCG, he ended up having 162 points in the career high. And we've seen Rankin this year, even on the weekend against Gold Coast, he's got the access to the points because he can tackle. He gets those plus sixes in getting into defence when he's playing the midfield, and he can kick goals as well. So he's got the ceiling when he's in the midfield. So I do like him. But again, as we said, James, all those combos are good options. I wouldn't begrudge you for going any one of those three combos. And Goulden is a trade target for sure. He's at a cheaper price now, so you can look there if you are keen on him. Henry's got this one. Who do you think will score better for the rest of the season? Neil, Heaney, Anderson, or Goulden? It's a good question. Who do you reckon, if you had to rank those four, who scores the most rest of the season?
Oh, you know how to ask the good questions. Heaney for me.
Yeah, I'm probably
Brownlow Heaney. Brownlow.
I'm probably the Sydney duo, Heaney Goulden. Then I'm probably like Neil's got a nice run home along with Anderson, so I'll probably go Neil Anderson. And Anderson's only last because of the Gold Coast factor. Do they change something? Something's got to change there because like even if they're not playing for finals this year, as Dimmer said, they're probably going to try a few things out to plan for next year, or they're going to change a few things to try and play finals this year. So they're going to be changing something. It just depends what they're going to change there. And that it's not probably an Anderson role change. It might be a game style change, which means Anderson doesn't get that cheap ball that he's been getting. So that just worries me there. And Henry also said Marshall or Brad Hill. Who do you go for? Does this again just come down to if it's a 23rd and you can you go Marshall? If not, if it's someone the whole rest of the season, is it Brad Hill?
Yeah. I'm not sure I'm bringing Marshall in now. I think he's got 2 weeks, and then when he's not solo, he's a problem.
Yeah, I feel like what you can probably have 1 week TDK back because I think that it's going to be more of that 50-50 split down the middle, if not slightly towards Marshall. But yeah, agreed. You don't want to be holding that longer than 1 week, and you probably ideally want to trade the week there. If you've got a plan of like you're going to go Marshall to Tristan Sherry, say next week if Sherry looks good. But then again, you're needing things to go your way. You need Sherry to look good against Gawn. You need those CBAs to keep up, and then you also need to be able to have no forced trade. So it's a risky option for sure, but you will get that sugar hit this week against Gold Coast there. Rob Siver, Ashcroft or Goulden? So that's an interesting question now with Goulden being 70 odd K cheaper now. So where are you leaning?
Ashcroft.
Still Ashcroft?
Yeah, Adelaide's harder.
I'm still Ashcroft as well, by the way.
But, Adelaide's harder. Goulden still has 127 break even. He's not getting away from you next week. Ashcroft's is 69. He's over 1.1 next week. West Coast, I don't think are a bad matchup for him. Yeah.
Yep, and I'm agreeing as well. Even though I own Gordon, I'd be going Ashcroft if you've got the funds to do that. If the 70k is important next week, then I could certainly see you going Gordon. D-Train, did you answer this one before for D-Train?
I did. I did a similar thing.
Yeah. Yes, I thought you did answer that one there as well. AF Mad McGee, g'day legends. Here's one for you. Baz and Cherry or Baz and Zorko in. I have some DPP going on. Yeah, sounds like you have got a lot of DPP going on. So yeah, is it Sherry or is it Zorko?
It's so I can't. Like Sherry was very good, but I just can't. I can't.
You want to see? I think you said you want to see one more. Like you were.
I want to see
what you saw, but you want one more.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100. I was very impressed. Obviously, he got 140, but he was against Darcy Cameron, who is like a shadow. Like he's just not a challenging ruck to score against. And those two players shook hands at the first set of bounds and didn't see each other for the rest of the game, apart from contests. Like it was, you have a mark. No, you have a mark. Oh, let's have a contest, because it was super high contest. So yeah, I'm probably Zorko, and it's fun. Watching Dane Zorko in the back line is very fun.
Yeah, so, and you expect that Tog to have a little bit of an increase this week after the first week back, and you expect to slowly start going up as they prepare for finals. So they're not. I don't think he's going to go up to 90% anytime soon, but I think he'll slightly creep up towards 80% there. Yeah. Andre Duran says a good point there, saying DeGoey highest CBA percent since round 11 last week against North, and I did see that as well. We had the third most CBA, so Ed Allen had 26, Dacos 24, DeGoey was 20. Next best was Ned Long at 11. Then you had like Crisp at 5, McCreary at 1, and they were the only guys in CBA. So it's a good point. Like I still don't mind DeGoey. I just worry that the week of where he scored 62, his CBAs were a little bit lower. He then started so poorly, and people were saying we're trading him next week. So I don't want to overreact to just going, the role is definitely.
I'm not saying
solidified, but
I didn't say trade him out. I said don't trade him in. Yeah. I think if you don't have him, he's one you're going against. Like that role is getting. It did have a few more CBAs. That's because he didn't get anywhere near the ball for the first quarter, and I think they just wanted him. And then he did get near the ball, and they kept him in there. So I'm very much at this stage. You need some pods and some anti-pods to make the ranks. And I think he's one. If I didn't own him, I'd be trying to anti-pod.
Yeah, and forward line, there's actually plenty of options that you can go for.
Yeah,
you can go against. And don't get it twisted. Tom loves Jordan DeGoey. Anytime he's doing well, we get DeGoat in the chat.
He is the GOAT, John the GOAT, and I love him to bits. I'm not saying that I don't love him. I'm saying that from a strategic back half of the year point of view.
Yeah, exactly. Corey Blackledge says he's only got 11 forced trades, which he feels the least
awesome.
of like. Yeah, no, exactly. No, great. Congrats. Like we're not certainly going to begrudge anyone. If you dodge bullets, like great, it's fantastic. And Corey, you're obviously doing very well, mate. So congrats on being able to dodge a few of those bullets as well. Big Bondi says, hey fellas, can we tick off benching JHF to trade Petrarca and the bench rook to Rankin and Red Dot? Next week, Rankin becomes 23rd primo, and Fitz and Hawkhan turn into any midfielder, probably Gould. Cheers. Hunt, yep, tick that off. Yep, 100%. I'd rather JHF rest the year, get rid of Petrarca. We've seen it's not changing. Gold Coast, I just, no, I don't want any part of it. If he becomes your 23rd,
Yeah, one thing I'm going to say, who does that get on field? Because that means you're bringing a forward on field.
No, Rankin on field. JHF just gets benched because he turns to 23rd primo.
No, so but when he trades 2 bench rookies next week, he turns to 23rd. This week he has to trade a forward bench player. So it depends who Big Bondi is fielding this week to cover JHF to hold him. I'm debating it too. I have Leo Lombard, who's been pretty damn good the last kind of 6 weeks. I say good. Like he averages in the 60s. I'm like, can I stomach a 60 to deal with my Jacob Farrow issue, for example, in my defensive line. Like that's what I'm in the similar boat to try and do something like this to get and hold JHF, but it does mean that I can, So I like it if you've got somebody better than Leo Lombard as your guy who you're going to have to field this week.
Well, from what I'm reading in Bing Bondi's question is Hulk Hahn is the rookie that he's got at like say an M8 on field, and he's getting the 7th forward in this week, and he's then upgrading to his 23rd next week by getting the extra midfield to complete his side in the midfield, but he'll still have 7 forwards. So he's playing Hulk Hahn on field in the midfield this week. He's playing Rankin on field for JHF this week, and then next week he'll upgrade Hulk Hahn to Goulden, and he'll then have 23 premiums when JHF's back. That's what I'm getting from that.
I don't read it like that at all, because he's trading for Tracker. So he must have 7 forwards. I don't think he will do. If he has 7 forwards and can do that, brilliant. But he's trading for Tracker to Rankin and holding JHF this week. So he's got to have another forward to come on, or he's got 7 forwards already. If that is the case, then tick. But I just worry about if it is a forward rookie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is Hulk Hahn as a rookie. And then, but Big Bond, if you're tuning in, let us know there. And he says that, Fitz was on field as his rookie. So he's saying that was the rookie, and he's training track this week.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought. So,
if you've got 7 forwards, then fire away.
Yeah, 100%. I like those trades, for sure. Henson said he's got 14 forced trades. That's obviously a nice number as well. I think anything less than 15, you're in a decent spot. I think.
Yeah, happy. Yeah.
Your boy says, have you had a week without a forced trade, Tom? Has there been how many weeks, Tom, have you had? So 3 weeks without a forced trade.
3 weeks.
Yeah, there wouldn't be too many for me.
Exciting.
To be honest, this time of year we don't mind if we have 1 or 2 forced trades, because hopefully
I do. Hopefully I've got rookies on field.
Yeah, no, hang on. Before I finish, right? It's normally at this time of the year, we like if there's a forced trade, we don't mind if there's a forced trade too, because we can make a trade choice, right? Whereas this year it's awful because we had forced trades all the start of the year, which means people haven't got a fully upgraded side at the moment, and we're still getting forced trades, which means people still can't complete their side or can't get rid of these problem players that they've had for weeks. So yes, there's no time this year that there's going to be a good time for a forced trade. What do we got here? So Henry says, do I go Goulden, Neal, or Heaney, and Hill, Rankin, or Marshall, or any other forwards? So Goulden, Heaney, Neal. Where are you going of the 3? And then Hill, Rankin, Marshall.
Well, it's the same, but like Hill has got the role, average run. Marshall, I think it's Rankin. I think Hill outscores Rankin this week. Marshall scores the most, but I think Rankin averages the most for the rest of the year. So if you're happy with like taking the punt, the hit this week to lock him in, it's Rankin, and I think it's Heaney. I really like. I think Heaney's going for a Brownlow. I think he's going to be playing hard for the rest of the year. I'm big on Heaney.
Yeah, I like Heaney as well. I'm maybe saying Goulden just because I'm a little bit biased, but I do like Heaney. Heaney's a much safer play from what we've seen all year. And then I just like Rankin for the extended run of the forwards as well. So I'd go there. I just tied up. So I've had 6 weeks of no forced trades there. But funny enough, of the 6 weeks, there was 1 week I remember I traded Jagger in like round 6 or 7. So it's probably not a good thing I had no forced trades because I could have easily held him. And then I just trade Colby in another week where I had no forced trades, which that was a failed pick in itself. So yeah, not too great, unfortunately. Jacob Clayton, trade Butters and Petrarca to Whitfield and Rankin, or is Murphy Reid a decent option with a good run? We'll be fielding either Fitzgerald or Hawker Hahn at M8. So yeah, we'll touch on Murphy Reid first before we get into the options, because I think Butters from Petrarca, Whitfield and Rankin's a good. Actually, no, yeah. Like, firstly, tick those off, Tom, and then your thoughts on Murphy Reid, because I feel like even in my head still, I'm looking at Murphy Reid going, I'm not jumping on or back on, because we started him at the start of the year to be a guy that's going to make some cash, be solid. We didn't expect to go this well, and then we trade him out and we're not going to get him back. But is there a case to be made that you could look at either bringing him back in or getting him for the first time this year because of how good Freo are and how good he's been all year?
I'm debating it this week. If I decide that I don't want Rankin and the Jordan tag is just too much to deal with, I'm debating it. He's been awesome. Port Adelaide are absolutely plated this week, and the run going forward is pretty nice. With the Eagles, Dogs, Melbourne is pretty good. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. There's no real. I don't think there's a tag coming to him there, given the shouldn't be for a second-year player. But yeah, I don't mind it at all for a cheaper option. I might have a Hawthorn forward at a similar price. So you can take your pick out with C-Mac or Ginnivan. They both average exactly the same this year. Good luck deciding which one's going to get the bump over the next two, but the run for the next couple is absolutely awesome with Richmond and Essendon. And then you can reassess.
Yeah. With the Hawthorn guys, you can't pick who's going to go well in a given week, which is very frustrating because there was some good matchups to come. They could be some options for you, that is for sure. Tim's got another super chat. Thank you, mate. He's asking, should I get Marshall this week? He's looking to go one down, one up for Butters and there. So, yeah, I think that, I'd Marshall, as we said before, I think that we would look that if you've got a 23rd Premier, you can go there. If not, I don't know. It's risky going there. So if you're happy to take on that risk, that's fine. And then, Butters up to one of those guys there is good. And I'd be doing a downgrade there, Tim. So whichever one of those top few sort of 6 midfielders you don't have, I'd be targeting one of those ones there. We'll go maybe one or two final questions. I know Tom does have to head off a tiny bit earlier tonight because he's got some plans afterwards. So we'll go these final two from Dan and Evil Cheese. So could you field Fitzgerald over Durham this week?
No,
I wouldn't be doing that either. Fitzy was good last week, but
Fitzy was good. It was good, but he like just look at his scores.
He plays low tog.
He plays super low tog. Like North aren't easy. He had a 48 2 weeks ago.
And Giants aren't too bad either, to be honest, for a matchup for Durham. So I think that's a good matchup under the
roof.
And
it's at Marvel. He's taking marks. He's Durham. I really like that. I know he's had a couple of slightly down scores, so he was top scorer for Essendon on the weekend. Durham averages 97 his last 5. He's playing Durham.
Yeah, exactly. And then we got this one from Dan. He said, we did Dan's one. Evil Cheese, Ashcroft and Roberts or Goulden and Wilkie?
I'm not bringing Roberts in.
Yeah, I couldn't bring Roberts in early. It's Goulden and Wilkie there. It's a good option and it's a good combo as well. I do like it there. Roberts, you need to wait a week, but I know he did go 150 against Giants early in the year. But I'll just wait. And we'll just fit this one in there because Andrew was saying he wanted his question answered. So sorry, Andrew, we got a lot of questions in the chat, so it's very hard to answer all of them. But I'll quickly do this one for you. Thoughts on my new force trades in McAndrew to Briggs and Noble to Josh Dacos? If Noble misses. No misses to Josh Dacos, I don't mind, but I wouldn't be doing McAndrew to Briggs. Briggs had the Geelong matchup last week. Like McAndrew, you're only trading McAndrew up to one of those top couple. Like if it's a Gawn, maybe Sherry after this week, if you like what you see, maybe Grundy or Jackson, but I wouldn't be trading him to anyone else. And if Noel plays, I'll just be holding him. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, cool. 100%. Righty, well, we will wrap this up now because Tom does have to head off. But Tom, what are your trades looking like this week? Obviously, who are your 2 forced trades? And then who are the guys you're bringing in for those forced trades?
So I have 2 options this week. My straight bat is Butters and JHF to Baz and Rankin. My very, very interesting trades are holding JHF, feeling Leo Lombard, and doing Butters to Caleb Sarong for a decent run, and Farrow up to Nick Newman.
Yeah, don't mind those options either. So
it's probably going to be the first one. The second one's a little bit spicy, but yeah.
Well, your first option is the trades I'm doing this week. So at the moment, I'm going JHF and Butters out to Rankin and Baz. Obviously, I got that last rookie off by holding Whitfield last week. So I'm just doing the simple, just sort of shuffles over. I have thought about Will Ashcroft and like a Brad Hill was a bit of a combo. But I just think Baz, just lock him in and Rankin with the good run after this week. I think I'm just going to be going there. I just want Baz. I don't want to go another week with having to yell at the TV saying, come on, Baz, don't get the ball. I want to be cheering him on. So, I'll get him in there this week. Cool. That'll wrap us up. Tom, thanks for jumping on, mate. Where can the people find you across socials and your team name for foes?
Yeah, you can find me on X at Tom_Hales_. And you can find me on foes at Pom United. Have a great week, guys. And I hope it all goes well.
Yeah, exactly. And you can find me at BAILSDT across socials, us at AFL Fantasy Fans on X. We'll be back on Friday at the usual time, 6 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. per time, answering more of your questions ahead of our lockout on Friday night. So looking forward to that one there. Apologies if you couldn't get your question this week there. If you do want team reviews are available there as well, or if you want to ask your questions over on Ask Me on Q, links in the description, or head to our Patreon where I'll be recording a Q&A tomorrow night as well, so you can check that out there as well. Links are in the description. Smash like on the video if you did enjoy, as always. Subscribe also to the channel if you haven't already. The first AFLW pod will be dropping tomorrow. Me and Tom recorded that last night, so that was good fun. So look forward to that dropping tomorrow as well. And have a good week, guys. Get through these forced trades. Hopefully trades go well, and we'll chat more to you on Friday. So thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we'll chat to you soon. See ya.
Bye-bye.